I would like to apologize for the noise in this video. I don't know how bad it was, but my parakeets are making a bit of noise, and also my neighbor has decided to mow his lawn halfway through filming, so I don't know how loud it was. I have my window open for my birds, so I'm sorry if you can hear that. What's up, stereotypes? First of all, I would like to apologize for my hair. I just got done washing my car and it got a little wet, so it's going to be a little bit frizzy and turning curly throughout this video. So today I'm going to make a video about betta fish care. I started getting into betta fish about a year ago, and I just fell in love with how absolutely beautiful they are, and they come in all different ranges of colors and tail patterns, and they're beautiful fish. Now, there are a lot of misconceptions about betta fish and how to care for them and stuff like that. So first I want to say that it is the males that have all the beautiful colors, and actually in the wild they will not have all the vibrant beautiful colors that we have in our pets. They would obviously still have a lot of colors, but we breed a lot of these colors into the pet fish so that people will buy them, obviously. It is a very common misconception that betta fish love to live in these really tiny bowls and vases. And while yes, they do live in like shallow rice ponds and stuff like that, if you have them in your home, you should at least have them in a 2-gallon tank. When I got my first betta fish, I also was under the impression that he would enjoy living in a vase in the roots of a plant. But if you have them in a small bowl like that with no water circulation, it's obviously going to get dirty very quickly. And so they will experience fin rot, and they will just not be very happy at all. So if you have something like that, you have to change the water every day, or at least 2 times a week, because it gets dirty so fast. And so my first betta got fin rot because I did not change the water enough. And I started looking into it, and so now he is in a 6.5-gallon tank because I felt so bad that I felt the need to overcompensate, and if I could, I would put him in a 10-gallon tank. They also need plants and spaces to hide, obviously. Live plants are best, but not required. Live plants will help keep the water clean and oxygenated, and also they're a lot softer than the plastic plants, so they won't necessarily tear their fins on them, which is very easy to do. So live plants are best, but they can get pretty expensive, so it's understandable if you can't afford them, as long as there's some type of plant for them to hide in. They also need lots of caves and little crevices that they can hide in, because they are carnivores, which a lot of people don't know. They have little teeth. And excuse me, you guys heard that, right? I'm supposed to be home alone, so that was pretty spooky. They need lots of little crevices that they can hide in so that they can not feel as vulnerable. Also, their diet is something that a lot of people get wrong. A lot of people either get them only pellets or only freeze-dried bloodworms. And I used to only feed my betta freeze-dried bloodworms because I was like, oh, it's best for them. They're carnivores, that's all they need. But they also need some pellets, and if you feed your betta too many freeze-dried bloodworms, he will get swim bladder, which is like he can't swim down. He's constantly floating at the top of the water. He's just very constipated. So my betta also ended up getting swim bladder, and I looked into it, and what I have started doing is I feed my betta on Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday is when I feed my betta, and Tuesday and Thursday, I feed both of them 3 pellets, and then on Sundays, I feed them 3 pellets with a little sprinkle of freeze-dried bloodworms. And you should also try to soak them in some of their tank water before you give it to them, so that you're not just putting it in there as they are, because that can also attribute to swim bladder. There's also the misconception that they cannot live with any other tank mates or they will kill them, which is true unless you have a community tank and there's plenty of spaces for them to hide and it's a very big tank. And also if you have a smaller tank, like a 6-gallon tank, you can get a mystery snail, and a mystery snail, obviously they don't really bother each other because, you know, it's a snail, it has a shell, and they will also keep the algae and stuff out of your tank and help keep it clean. But also with putting a snail in there, you have to account for the extra waste that is going to come from it. Another tip that I have is round tanks. Now obviously I have a round tank for one of my Bettas. It's a 3-gallon tank. I would prefer a slightly bigger one, so I'm going to get one of those soon. But right now he's in a 3-gallon tank. And rounded tanks, obviously they're fish. They don't have the best eyesight, and they can't really see the wall obviously in a rounded tank. So they are just constantly running into it, and that can mess up their nose and their face a little bit. So you should also be conscious of that. It's okay to have some rounded corners, but the whole thing should not be round. There is also this gene in betta fish called the marbling gene. I don't know if that's what it is officially called, that's just what I've read, which basically is exactly what it sounds like. Either the whole fish can turn white, or it can be like a little cow, or it can have like one strip of white. So my betta fish here, his name is Onyx, and he used to look like this. But because of the marbling gene, he now looks like this. And when it first started happening, I was very scared. I thought that I did something wrong and that the water was bad or something. But so I looked it up, and it's fine. And also, if your fish gets fin rot, you should drain the water to as low as it can, or you can get a hospital tank, which I think is a lot easier. This is my hospital tank. And you can buy lots of stuff to put in the water. I got something when July, one of my betta fish got fin rot. I can't remember what it was called, but you put a couple of drops in, and then you stirred it up, and it turned the whole water blue, and you had to change it every day and put more of the stuff in. But it really helped cure it and made him start feeling like himself again. So if you have any more questions about betta fish, or you want me to talk about any other type of animal, because I have 3 parakeets and I have had more in the past, so I feel like I'm pretty knowledgeable about that. So if you want me to talk about anything else like that, leave me a comment. And also, thank you for watching this video, and I will start putting out more in the future. I know I say that every video, but I really mean it this time, because I have a lot of topics that I'm going to enjoy talking about. So, stay kind, stay positive, and don't have an attitude all the time, because no one enjoys that. Peace out, stereotypes. Onyx. As you can see, he's almost completely white except for the ends of his tail, and he's also turning a little bit red in places. So that is a good example of the marbling gene. 6-gallon tank, and this guy right here is July. I named him that because when I got him, he was red, white, and blue. Obviously because of the fin rot, his fins are not looking the best. But he's almost completely healed, which I'm proud of. There's my mystery snail. They're kind of nocturnal, so they do most of their activities in the evening and at night. His name is Doomslayer.